Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Mall of Asia Arena on SNA as we proudly present Part 1 of the greatest rivalry ever in Philippine sports. This is your Season 79 of the UAAP. Let us now meet the starters, beginning with the still undefeated De La Salle Green Archers. At power forward number 5, Abu Trader. Forward number 8, Brent Paraiso. Center number 23, Ben Mbala. Off guard number 30, Andre Caragot. And at point guard number 18, Thomas Torres. The interim coach of the Green Archers, Louis Gonzalez. And now the starting five for the Ateneo Blue Eagles. At forward number 7, Mike Nieto. Power forward number 18, Chiboy Babilonia. Center number 21, Chiboy.
And here are your primary protagonists for La Salle and Ateneo. And how about the trust na pinapakita itong si Coach Louis at the same time with Coach Aldin, no? With Brent Paraiso starting the ball game. No surprise as he has, started in the last few games also for them.
Our officials, Carl Martinez, Mr. Soprano, and Ian Borbe. De La Salle University, 6-0, number 1 in the league. Ateneo at 4-2. And Sky Movie, you're watching La Salle versus Ateneo. It's cable and internet in your pocket. Here's Adrian Wong. Basket will not count. The foul spotted underneath. It will go against number 8, Brent Paraiso.
And right off the bat, I mentioned that post play as Ateneo likes to run. I think if La Salle wants to counter that, they have to take that away by putting pressure on the basketball and denying the post.
And that's an early look at the matchup between Ike and Mbala. But first, let's find out. Let's go to the La Salle bench with this Copico courtside report from Bea Escudero.
Miko and Christian, coming into the most awaited game of the UAAP season, the Green Archers are definitely prepared for what could be the most exciting yet nerve-wracking match of this first round. Hoping to continue their 6-0 streak, they're only keeping in mind one thing, and that is to keep their system intact despite the circumstances. Having the chance to talk to co-captain Thomas Torres, he mentioned that this game against the Blue Eagles will definitely be a test of how much they trust the system and the trust that they have on each other. He even mentioned that this so-called rivalry between the green and the blue holds no such standings inside the court, so it's all about showing your pride for the school, and just like what I mentioned earlier, their heart for the game. In yesterday's training, Coach Aldin Ayo mentioned to the team that if they are able to execute their game plan this afternoon, maganda ang magiging kalabasan ng laro na ito. So it's important that they come in focused and ready to disrupt the system of the Blue Eagles by forcing more turnovers and showing Ateneo what mayhem defense can do for the Green Archers. Miko and Christian.
Thank you, Bea, for that Copico 78 courtside report. Grabbing Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged. That's Assistant Coach Louis Gonzalez, who will be calling the shots for the Green Archers today in place of head coach Aldin Ayo.
Coach Louis Gonzalez is really an experienced coach. His experience in the past under Coach Glenn, when Coach Glenn Topacio used to handle that FBU team. Also, we can't forget that his experience also last year. He was a part of that team also when Letran won their championship in the NCAA.
Let's go to the Ateneo side for this Comigo courtside report from Denise Dinsay.
Nico and Christian, you mentioned Ernie's performance in last game, and he is actually moving on from that. He says, fast as fast, we can come to the season and well on things that are already done. We just keep doing better. He credits his teammates for the impossible that the guards weren't making the right plays and the big men weren't making good screens. Now talking to Adrian Wong on his thoughts on today's game, he was all smiles and with a glint in his eye, he told me, LaSalle is a good cohesive team, but anyone could bust them and have a breakout game, and we might just do so. More from the Ateneo side later.
Thank you, Denise, for that Comigo 78 courtside report. Grab a Comigo 78 now and be refreshingly recharged. That's one of the biggest questions that Ateneo, Third Raven, and the Blue Eagles will need to answer today. How they deal with that mayhem defense of the Green Archers.
And so far, the Archers imposing that mayhem defense, forcing a turnover. Archers right now with an opportunity to extend the lead.
They're up by one thanks to baskets by Mbala and Paraiso. Here's Brent Paraiso to Thomas Torres on the right side. Torres on the move finds a wide open Andre Karakut.
Andre Karakot for three!
A great taste wide, a great three for Andre Karakut coming off that splendid performance against the UE Red Warriors.
And Thomas Torres, a much improved penetrator and passer, spotting the wide open Karakot.
G-Boy Babylonia. This is from the top of the key, and that will be last touch on Ike.
You know, the last two possessions of the Archers has been on jump shots. To me,
As we see this Comigo 78 recharge moment, grab a Comigo 78 now and be refreshingly recharged.
you know, to me, if you're Ateneo, you cannot overreact to that. I think that's the one that you can live with the whole day instead of Mbala dominating inside the paint.
Green Archers on top by 4 as we near the 7-minute mark of the opening quarter. Torres, this time it's Paraiso, and he does not knock it down, and that will be a loose ball foul against Adrian Wong.
Number 3, Adrian Wong is first on Ateneo. 14 seconds on the shot clock.
First team foul as well for the Blue Eagles in the opening quarter. Paraiso will start the play. Torres, ball fake, drop pass, a steal by Anton Asistio. Asistio on the move. Asistio, his pass broken up, and it will be last touch on Tratter.
18 seconds.
Wong needs help. Here's Asistio. Shot clock down to 10. Asistio to Wong. Wong from the corner. Oh, a lot of pushing under the basket. It will be a loose ball foul against the Blue Eagles.
Number 18, G-Boy Babylonia.
It's against G-Boy Babylonia, his first personal. Second team foul against Ateneo. First substitution here for LaSalle. Brent Paraiso sits down. Kid Montalvo is now in the game.
And he's a game changer. You can expect yung intensity na napakataas na ngayong araw, especially for the Archers with this hot start na lalong tumaas pa. He's been consistent for them coming off the bench.
Meantime, here's Wong as we near the 6-minute mark of the opening quarter. This opening quarter going by very, very quickly.
Good denial in the post that time by Mbala to prevent the pass on the post.
Here's Tolentino. Tolentino with nowhere to go against Mbala. And here comes Thomas Torres. Torres chasing down the ball. And it will go back to Ateneo.
And you just have to love this block by Mbala. First the denial and the block right now.
McDonald McFreeze instant replay. Freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze and the bump on Kim Montalvo.
Number 15, Kim Montalvo is first for the Green Archers.
You see the early turnover story. Matt Nieto waiting for his turn to enter the game. By the way, sabi ko pabilis yung pace, it's going to get even faster. Aljun Melesio is now in for Lasal, and then Mike Nieto sits down for Ateneo. 30 Ravena will now join the story here with 6 and 17 remaining in the first quarter. Tolentino against Tratter. Shot clock reads 10. Where's this play going? Double team on Wong. Ravena to Asistio. Asistio for 3. Yes, sir! Great sized wide, great 3.
And what a great find by 30. As soon as he caught the ball off a pick and roll, the defense was rotating, looks at the weak side, and finds a wide open Asistio.
Asistio and the Blue Eagles still trailing by 1 point. Lasal on top 7-6 as we enter our Milo Nutria energy break.
Go beyond the courts of the UAAP. Learn more about your favorite hard-court superstars.
Team ko for this season, siyempre manalo championship.
And catch up with the latest trends in the league.
Handsome means cheerful.
Don't miss Upfront at the UAAP every Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 1:30 p.m. on SNA HD.
Gatorade fuels the beast within. These are very smiling beasts. Montalvo, Melesio, Richie Rivero, Perkins, Baltasar, then Mbala in the back. This was right before the tip-off. Kaya medyo chillax pa sila. Chillax pa sila dito.
You know, at 6-0, you have a lot of time to relax also, but today they want to go get for that sweep in the first round. You know, but to me, as we see Mbala on the post with a flop on Ike,
A master guapo move.
and Ike that time has to be much stronger than that. You cannot afford, you know, the refs to call that. But to me, you know, the keys to the game, we talked about, as you see, a nice floater by Adrian Wong down the middle. You know, the keys to the game for me is,
That's a decent yakisoba move.
and we mentioned this before the game, is controlling the pace. And also to me is the fouls, contrasting each other. With Lasal, I think it's important of how their bigs manage their fouls, you know, in their close games against FEU in their first game, against NU, and in their last game against UE. A lot of those times why those teams were in the game was because Abu Tratter in particular was in foul trouble. And for Ateneo naman, I think it's important of how they maximize their fouls, especially with this guy, with the throwdowns.
Ben Mbala, oh wishy, oh wow moment. And in all likelihood, that will not be the last. We might see more of that today. Here's Wong, he's in trouble, he needs help. Oh, finds Chibueze Ike with the gentle reverse layup. And it's still a 1-point game here in the opening quarter. Chucks the Chucks player, Chibueze Ike. Chucks to go, manok na masarap, kahit walang sauce. Here comes Torres. Torres finds Montalvo. Montalvo, good ball fake, and he gets fouled, taking a 3-point shot. McDonald's McFreeze instant replay. Read it! Read that and sends action with a new McFreeze.
And Tolentino doesn't want any part of that dunk. by Mbala as he looks on.
Sino ba? Who would want to get in the way of Ben Mbala trying to stop it down?
Well, I would go for 30 if they're put in a situation.
May galit ka ba kay 30?
No, I mean, 30 attempting a block on Mbala would be nice, especially if it becomes successful. I don't know. Well, we'll see. That remains yet to be seen.
Kim Montalvo on the line. One of the big reasons why the Green Archers are still undefeated. John Logo is in the game for LaSalle. Thomas Torres will take a breather on the bench.
You know, last game against the Warriors, in that early in the third quarter when the Warriors were making their run, inching towards the Salle, Torres had that beautiful alley-oop play to Mbala that really changed the game for the next 5 minutes. So, you know, for the Eagles, they have to take away plays like that for LaSalle to gain momentum.
Vince Tolentino in the backcourt being guarded by Justin Baltasar. Here comes 30 Ravenna against Montalvo. That's a great matchup. 30 Ravenna, top shot, falling away. It's good. Chippy, Twisters move for 30 Ravenna. Ateneo within one. Here comes Melesio. Jologo overshoots. Ravenna with a rebound.
Not a good shot.
Approaching the last 3 minutes of the opening quarter. And Ravenna trying to split the defense. Shot clock reads 10. Ravenna still has the basketball. Shot clock reads 5. It's Ravenna against Mbala. Ben Mbala almost with a swipe. Here comes Tolentino. Nowhere to go, but Babilonia is there. And he gets it just in the nick of time.
And almost a turnover as the long arms was able to batter the crossover of 30. Good thing they were able to recover.
Here for Nuggets, it's so easy play. And three-point shot goes in. Yes, sir. That's his job. That's his road. Meantime, a swipe from behind by Melesio. And the ball will stay with Ateneo.
3-point field goal so far. You know, with 3 minutes remaining, 2 of 4 for the Archers, 1 of 3 for the Eagles. And the good thing about that is that all of their attempts were really good shots created off of dribble penetration.
Shot clock reads 10. 30 Ravenna for 3. Great flex wide, great 3. And Ravenna pushes Ateneo ahead by 1 with 2:52 remaining in the opening quarter. Here's a Milo Nutriac energy break.
Will be a handful to all the teams this season.
He's doing everything for the Soaring Falcons, welcoming you into the NBC show. Watch him say, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Wow, cash money again.
Wow, what a mid-air showdown. Papisar all the way.
Ochea turns around and gets it to go.
.52 remaining here in the opening quarter. Blue Eagles on top by a precarious point, 17-16. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for watching the UAAP Live on SNA. This is a special presentation of ABS-CBN Sports. Also welcoming everyone watching us on SNA HD channel 166, as well as everyone watching on our live stream channel. Mbala with a basketball. Archers down by one. A swipe by the Blue Eagles. Here comes Matt Nieto, and Matt Nieto will miss the layup and clearly intimidated by the presence, the threatening presence of Mbala.
And even off the miss right here, as Mbala with the chase down change and altered the shot. But I thought watching 30 trailing that play was going up for an attempted follow-up dunk.
Mike Nieto brothers on the break. Nieto loses it. Lost the ball. Here comes Montalvo. Outlet to Mbala. But Mbala not fast enough to get the pass. There might have been a slight nudge as well coming from G-Boy Babylonia on that play. Not fast enough. G-Boy Babylonia just wanted to make sure that Ben Mbala would get the ball.
And how about 30 Ravenna back-to-back threes? Kim Montalvo just daring him to shoot it. 30 on the other hand, making them pay.
Mbala, top of the key, no problem. He's shaking his head. He's saying, that's a hate school play. I can knock down that shot every time.
And that's okay. Again, don't overreact to that, because I believe that those are shots that you can live with.
Missed by Mike Nieto. 30 Ravenna for three. Missed that time. He made two triples earlier. Under 2 minutes remaining in what has been a frenetic opening quarter. Melesio trying a two-man game with Mbala. Melesio says, I'll take care of this. And a rebound ends up with 30 Ravenna. Blue Eagles on top by 2. 1 minute remaining in the opening period. Ravenna on the move, sets up Babylonia. They swing it over to Mike Nieto, and a rebound for Ben Mbala.
You know, it seems to me that Ateneo is trying to put Mbala in pick and roll situations, maybe get 1 or 2 fouls, trying to put him into foul trouble. So far, unsuccessful.
Here's Melesio, shot clock down to 8. Archers down by 2. Melesio, shot clock down to 3. Montalvo blocked. And loose ball picked up by Vince Tolentino.
And the Archers just a poor job of getting into their offense slowly, which forces them to take a tough shot.
Nice stop by Melesio. Here comes Montalvo. And Montalvo will score. A C2 fast break for Kim Montalvo and the Green Archers. We're tied at 20 as Ateneo hopes to write the last sentence of the opening chapter. 3 seconds remaining in the quarter. A swipe by Mbala. Here comes Chologo, but not enough time.
At the end of the first, we are tied at 20.
That was a fast, a frenetic, a furious opening quarter. And we end up tied at 20. Number 1 team, Salle, against one of the teams in second place, Ateneo. We'll be back with the second quarter after these. Back with us inside Mall of Asia Arena, the UAAP live on SNA. Second to the last game day of the first round. The Salle Green Archers hoping to sweep this first round. They want to go 7-0 to end the first round play. And standing in their way is Ateneo at 4-2, hoping to become the first team to beat Salle in this tournament. Sky Movie, you're watching Salle versus Ateneo. It's cable and internet in your pocket. Nico Alili with Christian Luanzon. CL, your thoughts from that opening quarter. Let's start with Ateneo.
Well, with Ateneo, you just gotta love, again, yung patience na pinapakita nila sa kanilang opensa. The only thing with them is to manage those turnovers as we see another three-pointer coming from a nice set play.
Great 6 wide, great 3 for Matt Nieto.
On the other hand, for the Archers, you just see the value of a Jeron Teng, you know, both on the offensive end and then on the defensive end. On the offensive end, you know, I thought a lot of times, most of their shots were coming off of jump shots. The good thing about it is that most of them went in, but at the same time, you cannot live with that. That's why you miss Jeron Teng on the defensive end naman. Yung switching nila medyo nawawala, no? Which we're used to seeing the past few games. Now, Coach Louie is forced, maybe most of the game, to put a 3-guard lineup tulad ng nakikita natin ngayon with Jologo, Melesio, and Montalvo.
Coach CL referring to Coach Louie Gonzalez, assistant coach, who is now acting as head coach because of the suspension of LaSalle head coach Aldin Ayo. Meantime, here's Matt Nieto to brother Mike, to Chris Porter from the corner. That's a three. Mitsubishi, great play. A corner three from big man Chris Porter.
And that's just picture-perfect offense for the Eagles. The ball starting inside, then the outside ball swung side to side. Porter hits the jumper.
No basket, says referee Ian Borbe. I believe that was a loose ball foul against G-Boy Babylonia.
And this is the offense that we're talking about. We didn't see it before it happened, but it all started when Porter was dropped off with the pass. He kicked it out from one side to the other. Paul finds it, and then he drains the jumper, which he has.
Hand tie move by Karakut.
It's just a nice drive by Karakut, showing a different dimension of his game aside from his shooting ability.
Donald McFreeze instant replay, freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze, the rookie Rafi Verano picking up his second personal foul. Cha Cruz, former lady spiker, certainly a sports superstar in the LaSalle and volleyball community. And Karakut cuts down Ateneo's lead to 4, 26-22. We'll see the first appearance of Jolo Mendoza for Ateneo, joining Matt Nieto, Chris Porter, Mike Nieto, and Chibueze Ike. Here's Porter with that three-point shot moments ago. And a nice play by Kim Montalvo. Great anticipation. Montalvo all the way. Chippy Twisters move by Kim Montalvo.
Just terrific anticipation that time, and good scouting on the part of the Archers to take away that play, and a nice finish by the hop step Montalvo.
And Porter was caught dancing to the wrong song. The ball will go back to the Green Archers, who are within 2 points. For more on LaSalle, let's get this Copigo courtside report. Bea Escudero.
Nico and Christian, like what I mentioned earlier, the boys are coming into this game with the same mindset that they have for the past 6 games. But with what the LaSalle community is showing in the Mall of Angels Arena, this is surely giving the boys these extra boost of confidence that they need to keep the pace of the game. In this huddle, the Archers were told to exert more effort on their defense and stay aggressive inside the court. Coach Louie adds that he still wants to see each player inside the court play with more intensity and all-out focus to give us the edge in the next few quarters. Nico and Christian.
Thank you, Bea, for the Copigo 78 courtside report. Grab your Copigo 70 now and be refreshingly recharged. Wow, that mayhem defense really coming to fore in that last sequence. Meantime, here's Porter. He will try again. He misses that time. Ike gets the offensive rebound. Jolo Mendoza for 3. That's short. Rebound. Mike Nieto. No girl, no sir. And there's a foul underneath. It will go against Chibueze Ike. Here's a Copigo courtside report from Ateneo's Denise Ditzal.
Coach Tab is asking the Blue Eagles to lessen their dribbles because it is only making it harder for them. They must have to treat LaSalle's defense as a zone and everything LaSalle plays as a trap. Coach Tab surprisingly said in a loud voice, move the ball and be more open. The coaching staff are not satisfied with the job the Ateneo Blue Eagles are doing, especially when it comes to their offensive rebounds. In a more calm voice, Coach Tab told the boys to pursue the loose ball, pull up, and shoot short. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you very much. It is Jason Perkins with a rebound and a putback after that. Copico 78 courtside report. Grabbing Copico 78 now. Can be refreshingly recharged, and we go straight to that Yamaha big move by Jason Perkins.
This is terrific individual defense by Ike, forcing a tough shot. But Porter has to do a better job of getting a body on Perkins. You know, this guy just came back a couple games ago. I think he just, the first time he's seen action was just the last game. But make no mistake about it, Jason Perkins, with his experience in the UAAP, can definitely play.
I tell you, what was already a deep bench became even deeper because of the last game, because Prince Rivero and Jason Perkins, they got to see action and they helped LaSalle win. And there's that really suffocating pressure defense by the Green Archers.
And you have to give credit also to the coaching staff of how they communicate to their players. As you see right here, it was clearly off of Adrian Wong, you know, of how the coaching staff communicate to their players. You know, it's one thing to have a stacked team. It's another thing to have them sell or buy in to the system that you want and the trust needed for your team to be successful.
Milo Nutria drive for Jason Perkins, really having an impact in this game. Meantime, here's Mendoza to Ike. Ike, oh wow, what a collision between the big men of both teams. There's a McDonald's McFreeze instant replay. Mendoza to Ike. Freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze. There's the fake. Perkins biting into the fake. And then fouling Ike in the process. First personal against Perkins. Richie Rivero making his first appearance in this game.
Ito yung mga tinatawag na magic bunot, no? Ay, nakita natin last game. Prince Rivero, as we mentioned, didn't play the game before that. Was able to contribute quality minutes for them. 11 points, 8 rebounds in 10 minutes. And Richie Rivero didn't see action the last game. And today, seeing action for the first time.
6.5 remaining in the first half. LaSalle on an 11-0 run, and Caracon goes in for two. Milo Nutria drive for Andre Caracon. He has 7 points in the game.
And you just gotta like the aggressiveness of Caracon. We all know that Ateneo is trying to take away his shot as a shooter. Last 2 timeouts, he takes it to the basket.
Missed by Mike Nieto. Long rebound picked up by Adrian Wong. 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and Ateneo hoping to stop this 13-0 LaSalle run. Shot clock down to 5. Jolo Mendoza for 3. Yes, sir. And Jolo is the recipient of a PS bankable assist. Ang simple, basta ang simple, sa PS Bank Mobile. LaSalle 33, Ateneo 29 here in the second quarter as we enter this Milo Nutria energy break. Checking on the mayhem makers. Ito yung pahumos na mga mayhem makers, Aldin Ayo and Cape Montalvo of the Green Archers.
And 2 guys really is a big part of this mayhem system. Tulad ng sinabi mo, 8 points and 7 and 6 points for Melesio. A big reason why they're leading the league in bench points.
Sky Movie, you're watching LaSalle versus Ateneo. It's cable and internet in your pocket. There's a kickball violation here, spotted by referee Ian Borbe. So far, Archers outscoring the Eagles here in the second quarter, 13-9.
Perimeter points so far, those jumpers going in 18-10. 1 point in the paint. The Archers getting the upper hand as you see a nice jumper off an inbound play by Prince Rivero, by Richie Rivero.
He's in Yakisobra move. An offensive foul against the Blue Eagles.
Offensive foul, number 0,
It's against 30 Ravenna. That's his first personal.
Right there, I'm not so sure about the call if it's right or wrong, but nonetheless, it's a judgment call. As Ateneo is trying to contest that 30, or Richie was the one who initiated the contact.
There's a warning to Ateneo assistant coach Jean Afable for resentment to a call. As you mentioned, they were trying to contest that call. Action continues here. Richie Rivero just did a jumper earlier, and then he gets away, almost but not quite. 30 Ravenna with a rebound. Look out! Thomas Torres with a near steal. Anthony Head still in the backcourt. They are in big trouble. Here comes Andre Caraco. Master guapo move for Caraco, and it's now a 9-point lead for the Green Archers, their biggest lead of the game.
And these are the turnovers that you don't want to happen if you're the Eagles, the unforced ones. Pretty much the same predicament that happened with the Maroons last game against the Eagles.
Almost another interception by LaSalle. Ike, double team, cross-court pass, Wong. Adrian Wong with nowhere to go. Here's Jolo Mendoza. Rebound, Vince Tolentino. 30 Ravenna says, we have time to work with. Wong back to Jolo Mendoza again. No, sir. And Ike with the rebound. That ball goes out of bounds. And it will be last touch on Ateneo.
And that's good offense if you're the Eagles.
As you check this Copico 78 recharge moment, grab a Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged.
You know, even though it didn't end up as the result they wanted, I thought those two shots by Jolo Mendoza, as this guy is really known as a dead shot shooter back in the juniors days.
Ben Mbala scoring on Ike one-on-one with a Yamaha big move. Ben Mbala now with 12 points. Biggest lead of the game for the Green Archers, an 11-point lead. Wong in trouble. Triple team. Nowhere to go.
How about Abu Tratter?
Gakonavix assemble. Jerwin Gakwa getting a mammoth ovation from the LaSalle crowd.
And perfect timing also. I was about to say, how about Abu Tratter taking on the challenge, guarding a smaller Adrian Wong. And this is where I feel that LaSalle is at its best. Their versatility on defense, their big, having their bigs, having the ability to switch to smaller guards. What does that do to your defense? It allows your defense to rotate less, which in the long run makes your defense more.
Of course, Kiana Kimdi, one of the really talented lady spikers for De La Salle University. By the way, there was an unsportsmanlike foul called on Ateneo's Vince Tolentino. And I think that's what the referees are looking at right now on their monitors. So we're waiting for I guess, official verdict on that call. So referees Zambrano, Mercines, and Borde are all in a caucus here. They're trying to spot the exact infraction. As Coach Tab Baldwin huddles with his players, Ravenna, Tolentino, Ike, Wong, and Matt Nieto.
You know, no matter what the call ends up with, so far 40 to 29 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, and LaSalle with a 20 to 9 run so far. I think, you know, you got to be careful if you're the Eagles. The last thing that you want is to break the game wide open. You know, as good as it sounds of getting a win coming from behind, if you're the Eagles or any team for that matter, you cannot afford being down and playing catch-up basketball the whole game with the Archers. You want to keep the score close, make them doubt themselves in the end, and maybe pull off a win if you're the Eagles.
So look at number 5 of Ateneo. There he is, Vince Tolentino. He is trying to help out Adrian Wong. Something must have happened between him and Richie Rivero.
I think it was more of like the close fist, that right hand, but it was really, nothing malicious. There was nothing, any malicious intent about it. But I think the ref saw that he had his right hand with a closed fist.
Of course, the Ateneo fans reacting because they saw the replay on the big screen over the court. Now action continues here. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Rivero to Torres. Torres from the corner. Rebound for 30 Ravenna. Ravenna now with 6 rebounds in the game. Wong to Nieto. Nieto connects. Deerfields Nuggets, it's so easy play for Matt Nieto. Another rebound for 30 Ravenna. So 7 rebounds for Ravenna. Blue Eagles down by 10. Ike. Ravenna. Took a while for that ball to decide to go in. Chooks the Chooks player, 30 Ravenna. Chooks to go. Manok na masarap kahit wala sauce.
And you just gotta love the mindset of 30. Every time he gets that basketball, he waits for the perfect opportunity to score. That time, Ike with a nice dish.
And there is an unsportsmanlike foul, and it could go against 30 Ravenna, who currently has 10 points and 7 rebounds.
Unsportsmanlike goal number 0, 30 Ravenna.
And here's the play right here for 30. Right there with an extra elbow on Richie Rivero, and you have to be better than that, especially of how you're playing. And with 30, with his value to his team, aside from being down by 8 at this point.
Once again, it's Richie Rivero picking on the rookie. There's Kuya Prince Rivero cheering from the LaSalle bench. Impact points for the younger Rivero. Prince Rivero very proud of the effort of his younger brother. Who now goes back to the bench. Quality minutes for him.
I just can't say enough about Prince Rivero right there. It just reveals what you really are made of. Being that cheerleader on the bench.
Here's Karakot for 3. Will they count it? There was a foul away from the play. And it counts. It's a 3 for Andre Karakot. And there was a foul away from the play. 12 points for Andre Karakot.
Final Ateneo Blue Eagles.
2:56 remaining in the second quarter. The Green Archers now on top, 45-33. We'll be back after this Milo Nutri-Up Energy Break. Okay, so here's what happened earlier. Andre Karakot launches a 3-point shot, and then there was a 3-second call under the basket. Now, according to the officials, the 3-second call was made after the release. Ball in flight.
And since the ball was released already, I think by the rule book also, that shot should be counted. As we see George Tratter on your screens, the father of Abu Tratter. Nonetheless, we still continue. LaSalle up by 12 with 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Meantime, here's Mike Nieto. Shot clock reads 10. Nieto being hounded. Here's Wong, high looper. Really had to do a high looper in front of Ben and Mbala. Here's Tratter. Tratter steps on the brakes, loses the ball. It's with Montalvo. Montalvo. Cross court, Caracot. Look out. Caracot for 3. Too strong. Rebound. Torres. Torres no go. And there is a foul against Ateneo. As Coach Andres Pocachaga talking with G-Boy Babylonia, Gatorade fuels the beast within. Vince Tolentino picking up his second personal foul, and that will send Thomas Torres to the free throw line. Torres so far looking for his first points in this game. Mr. March Ventosa and Mr. Dino Lorena of ABS-CBN Sports overseeing our presentation here of Ateneo versus Salle. So, last 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Here comes Ben Mbala and a blocking foul given up by Matt Nieto.
Not a good foul that time. But what can you do when a 6'6", 6'7" guy is running towards you as Ateneo is over the limit?
Wow, you know, Lasalle really enjoyed the effects of their 13-0 run earlier.
And they've been getting the shots that they want so far, and it all started on the defensive end with the adjustment of Coach Louie, as we see.
The parents of Ben and Mbala family here inside the Mall of Asia Arena, and they must be ecstatic because the Green Archers are in complete control of the second quarter. Verano to Ike. And Ike will score. Chikweze Ike with 7 points. That was a Mitsubishi great play for Ateneo. However, Green Archers still ahead by 12. Ooh, getaway by Tratter. Yamaha big move for Abu Tratter. His first 2 points today.
This is a nice move by Tratter. You know, one of my former teammates always used to say that in the name of Jeffrey Carriazo, you always have to stay in front of your man. And that time, really, Tratter, nothing doing special with that move. If you're Verano, you have to be stronger in terms of stopping a guy going to the basket.
Oh, that is the mom of Abu Tratter, Sonny. Tita Sonny Tratter. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Nieto. Look at the steals department. Just absolute domination by that mayhem defense.
And forces another turnover off a terrific ball pressure by Caracot on Nieto.
Minute and a half remaining in the second period. Montalvo, Mbala, and well, he had to be fouled there. He will take 2 free throws.
The Eagles fortunate that time that Mbala did not convert the potential 3-point play. Every time you see an Abu Tratter and Mbala getting inside the paint, I think it's better off that they give up that fouls, especially with the bodies that they have. You know, we have yet to see maybe an Isaac go. We saw Verano already. I think the key for Ateneo is slowing the game down, you know, by maximizing their big men, and part of that is maximizing fouls.
And Mbala with 15 points to lead the way for the Green Archers. They're on top 51-35, biggest lead of the game at 16. Wong sets up Mike Nieto for 3. The rebound for Andre Caracot. Here comes Torres. Torres locates Montalvo. Montalvo for 3. Nieto to Nieto. And a bump by Montalvo. And Matt Nieto is down and holding on to his right knee.
Number 15, Montalvo is second and 3 on Salle.
Did you see how that play transpired from the offensive end to the defensive end? You know, for a split second, you would say that this was like a 2 versus 1 basket.
Oh, that did not look good.
Not at all.
Oh, that did not look good for Matt Nieto. Very, very awkward fall involving that right knee, which is already heavily wrapped. And Nieto will have to be carried back to the Ateneo bench. So Jolo Mendoza will take the place of Matt Nieto. Question mark whether Matt Nieto will get to return in this game with 1 minute remaining in the second quarter. Ike. Porter. 30 to shoot for Ateneo. Down by 16 points. 8 to shoot. Wong to Porter. Now being hounded by Mbala and Montalvo. And referee Borbe says that's a push against Ben Mbala. And only his first personal foul.
4 on the Green Archers. 14 seconds.
And that will be the 4th team foul against the Archers. What changed here? We were tied at the end of the opening quarter, and then everything changed in the second period.
Well, the adjustment of Coach Louie on the pick and roll, especially with Abu Tratter and being able to switch more instead of rotating. That time, Mbala off the rotation, we see a nice drive by Malesio. But this is really, to me, aside from the talent and the depth that is obviously are very evident with LaSalle, is their strength, their versatility on defense. And with the big guys being able to rotate quickly and being able to slide with them every time a guard tries to get to the basket.
Well, you can also say this second quarter is a confirmation of what LaSalle has done in their first 6 games. Montalvo for 3. Rebound, Caracot, and that will be an easy putback because of the blockout by Ben Mbala. Total domination by LaSalle in the second period. And there's a foul here. A last second foul here.
Is it going to be 2 free throws or 3 free throws though, as Jolo Mendoza attempted that 3 as the game clock was winding down.
So the foul against Kim Montalvo, he picks up his 3rd personal foul. And 3 free throws for rookie Jolo Mendoza. Now it's going to be an uphill climb for Ateneo in the second half. While for LaSalle, they could be 2 quarters away from sweeping the first round. So 3 free throws for Jolo Mendoza, and at the least, maybe Ateneo can end the first half with some points on the board. And that's Coach Jim Mendoza and Bambi Mendoza, the parents of Jolo Mendoza. that ends the first half.
At that time, it is 53.
After a tied ball game at the end of the opening quarter, the undefeated De La Salle Green Archers, they step on the gas and they go full speed ahead. And they dominate the second quarter, and that's why they lead this game 53-36 at the half. We'll be back with more from the Mall of Asia Arena. You are watching the UAAP live on SNA. Second half between the undefeated De La Salle Green Archers and one of those teams sharing second place, the Ateneo Blue Eagles, about to start. The Green Archers will open the third quarter with a 17-point advantage. Sky Mobi, you're watching LaSalle versus Ateneo. It's cable and internet in your pocket. The Archers begin the third quarter with Thomas Torres, Ben Mbala, Abu Tratter, Andre Caracot, and Aljun Melesio. And that rebound ends up with Chibweze Ike, who starts the third quarter with Adrian Wong, J-Boy Babilonia, Mike Nieto, and Anton Asistio. What are you looking for, CL, in the early moments of the third? Let's start with Ateneo.
Well, with Ateneo, just like what I mentioned in the halftime, is that when Mbala gets it in the post, you can expect probably a more aggressive double team on their part, which will lead to a lot of rotations and flybys or flyouts to the shooters. I think those are the shots that you can live with. For the Archers, with this lineup, starting Melesio for Paraiso, who started the ball game. Obviously, they just want to play LaSalle basketball.
5-second inbound violation.
That's a 5-second violation against the Blue Eagles. Keep in mind, LaSalle is actually undermanned in this game because they don't have Coach Aldin Ayo, was suspended for one game. They do not have Jeron Teng, who is injured, might be out for a couple of games. As we send you to Bea Escudero with his Comico courtside report for LaSalle.
Miko and Christian, with the Archers showing how well they get to adjust in every situation, it only goes to show how hungry they truly are. Before the second quarter ended, Coach Luis Gonzalez reminds his players about not being complacent inside the court and continues to give the Eagles a harder time receiving the ball. He also stressed the importance of anticipating the passes and ends by telling the boys, walang titigil sa loob ng court. So coming into the third quarter, we can expect more hustle and the same momentum from every player in the team. That's all for now. Miko and Christian.
Thank you, Bea. Copico 78 courtside report. Grab a Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged. And excellent job so far for acting head coach Luis Gonzalez, who's taken over the job for today, just for today, from head coach Aldin Ayo, and another turnover here against the Blue Eagles.
And again, it was caused by the pressure defense that was applied by Andre Caracot, who was able to force a turnover off of Nieto in that first half before Nieto went down on the knee injury.
That will be against Ike, and that will be his third team foul against Ateneo. J-Boy Babilonia probably telling Ike to settle down a bit.
You know, Miko, we talked about obviously the talent and the depth of LaSalle, their length and their quickness. But one thing that, to me, that tends to be overlooked is how competitive this team plays every game.
Rebound, put back for Abu Tratter. Pure Foods Nuggets, it's so easy play. Biggest lead of the game for the Green Archers. They get the swipe. Here comes Ben Mbala, and Mbala will score on the layup.
Might have been fouled too on that play.
C2 fast break for Mbala and the Green Archers, and they are breaking this game wide open early in the third quarter. Asistio on the move. Turnover. Look out. Here comes Thomas Torres. Torres all the way.
Torres.
Mitsubishi, great play for Tomas Torres. It is on Salle here in the second half. Adrian Wong with a miss. Rebound, Mbala. Corner, Torres for three. Yes, sir!
Thomas Torres! Time out Ateneo Blue Eagles!
PS bankable assist. Leads to that three-point shot by Torres. Ang simple, mas lalong pinasimple sa PS back mobile. The Telasag Green Archers in complete control as we enter this Milo Nutria energy break.
Go beyond the courts of the UAAP. Learn more about your favorite hardcourt superstars.
Team ko for this season, syempre manalo champions.
And catch up with the latest trends in the league.
Anthem means cheerful.
Don't miss Upfront at the UAAP every Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 1:30 p.m. on SNA HD.
It is now a mammoth 26-point lead for the undefeated Green Archers. You can actually see the lower half of the scoreboard. Just utter domination by Salle, which we go back to the second quarter. And Gatorade feels the beast within as the Ateneans trying to regroup here with over 7 minutes remaining in the third. Since that 13-0 run by Salle in the second quarter, they have not looked back.
And just picking up where they left off, and I'm sure as you see a foul committed by Torres. And I'm pretty sure that part of that speech in Coach Louie during the halftime break,
as we look at this Copico 78 recharge moment, grab a Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged.
Was to refresh their memory of what happened last game as they were in complete control also early in the first half against the Warriors. But in the second half, it was just a different story, and that has taken effect to the Archers' performance right now with their response to start the third quarter.
That was a master guapo move for Anton Asistio. Really trying to stop this Salle onslaught in the third. Belesio, Sargent, the Trotter. That putback slam will not count. Abu Trotter will be taking 2 free throws as we go to Denise Dinsay with his Copico courtside report.
Coach Sandy Alaspakotsaga and Coach Taver getting frustrated with the mistakes that the players are making. So we're the guys who are also getting tired of all that they have been doing. Now Anton Asistio was telling his teammates to stop being hesitant. The coaching staff was reassuring them to not play individual as they are a team and they are not playing like they usually do. Since they are now in the second half, the boys have a clear awareness, so they must attack correctly to cut the margin. The team should start getting the De La Salle Green Archers back. Update on Matt Nieto, he twisted his knee after getting swiped by Montalvo and they are putting ice right now. Miko and Christian.
Thank you, Denise, for that Copico 78 courtside report. Grabbing Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged. Aaron Black still not in uniform for Ateneo. Question mark as to when he can actually return. 30 Ravena still on the bench, waiting for his chance to re-enter the game.
There's certainly a guy that they're missing badly today.
Uh-oh, look out. Look out! A steal by Trotter. And Trotter committed a traveling violation, and Mike Nieto and Abu Trotter, they're being separated here. And Mike's telling his teammates, I'm okay. But he was not okay in this sequence as he was surrounded by two white shirts. Trotter taking the ball away. McDonald's, McFreeze, instant replay. Freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze. So Ateneo will keep the basketball with 7:09 remaining in the third. Steal, Jologo, all the way. Nope. Offensive foul on Julian Sargent.
Offensive foul number 1, Julian Sargent.
Was too aggressive in creating some space for his teammate. Some driving lane. Wow, but really, Ateneo, having a tough time crossing the half-court line here early in the third quarter. That's a foul on Jason Perkins.
10, Jason Perkins, penalty.
Yep, there's the hold. Did not appreciate the hold by Perkins. Oh, LaSalle already in the penalty here with 7 minutes remaining in the third. That's why Vince Tolentino is on the free throw line.
And this is probably one thing that they could take advantage of at this point in the third quarter. You know, you're trying to play catch-up basketball, obviously being down by a lot. But at the same time, especially how Ateneo plays, you want to do that on opportunities.
And their free throw troubles continue. They shot 33% from the free throw line in the first half. They're still struggling from the free throw line in the third quarter. Missed by Melesio. Perkins tries to save the ball. And is Perkins okay? Yeah, he's okay. Yep. Checks on some of our photographer friends as well. Once again, the backcourt adventure continues for Ateneo. And they finally cross the half-court line. Wong to Asistio. Asistio to Babilon. Inside. Nieto will score. That was a Milo Nutrium drive for Mike Nieto.
A better job that time of crossing the ball half court and finding the open guy immediately.
Oh, yes, sir! Owishi! Oh, wow, moment for Ben Mbala. By the way, excellent pass by Julian Sargent. Excellent bullet pass.
Don't be angry at the rim, Big Ben.
Check out the pass. Excellent.
And a two-handed slam. This is how you take it home.
McDonald's, McFreeze, instant replay. Freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze. Oh, everyone's frozen whenever he goes up for a knock because, you know, lahat talaga, they're anticipating, rim rattling excellence coming from Ben Mbala, who has 19 points today. Adrian Wong trying to trim down this big deficit that Ateneo has to deal with in the second half. Melesio, 4-3, pulled up, and rebound ends up with Mike Nieto. Ateneo pushing the ball here as we near the halfway mark of the third quarter as Adrian Wong goes all the way. Adrian Wong with 6 points. A chippy twister's move for Wong.
One of the few times you'll see Ateneo right off the defensive rebound gets an easy 2 to the bucket.
So if Ben Mbala is not dunking on you, he's taking his position underneath. That's a nice move by Adrian Wong. Very aggressive, going all the way. And all eyes back on Ben Mbala. Chibueze Ike. He had 7 points and 2 rebounds back in the first half. And really had a tough time matching up against that guy on your screens who now has a double-double. 21 points, 10 rebounds.
And it's not entirely his fault as he did his job in the first half. You know, it's just impossible to stop talking about Bin Ben. I don't think there's anyone in the league right now that can stop this guy one-on-one.
Here's Wong. And inviting the contact from Julian Sargent, and Adrian Wong will take
Foul number
2 free
1,
throws.
Julian Sargent, second. Adrian Wong, 2.
21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals, 1 block. We also have to create a stat for all the layups that he has discouraged just by being around the area. Prince Rivero gets a big ovation here. Sabay sila eh. Prince Rivero comes in, Ben Mbala gets a big hand. This LaSalle crowd, they also understand Prince Rivero. Must be a frustrating season for him, but he's always ready to perform, always ready to help out. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is.
That's the brother of Adrian Wong, Dan, who's understandably very concerned because his brother's team trailing by a big margin here. Adrian Wong now with 8 points. Sargent, Prince Rivero, 15-footer. And that ball ends up with Adrian Wong. Ferdy Ravena back in the ball game. Ravena. And that will be last touch on Sargent.
Shot clock, 16 seconds.
That's Abu Tratter. Taking a breather on the bench. A wink for the cameras because they're on top. You can afford to wink when you're on top by this much. Thomas Torres back in the ball game, and Aldin Ayo is going to go back to the LaSalle bench.
You know, with LaSalle up by 21 at this point, and with a guy like Perkins just seeing action his second game in the season, these are important minutes for him just to build on his confidence moving towards the second round and in the Final Four. It adds more depth to their team.
Pwede ba yun? It's already deep. Can you still add depth to an already crazy deep team?
You know, that's the luxury that, you know, LaSalle has, and to me what really describes them this season as a true team is that how other players have stepped up in different games. You know, we saw Richie Rivero showing bright spots in maybe in that second or third game. A guy like Paraiso who has shown some bright spots by starting out with a jumper today. A guy like Montalvo who was voted Player of the Week last week. I mean, enough is just said.
As you look at Carol, the mom of Isaac Go. Isaac did not play the first half. He now gets his chance and pretty aggressive in that move under the basket when he got his own miss. There's Aldin Ayo, his team, up big here in the second half. Prince Rivero, Torres. Shot clock reads 14. Goes to Prince, who was bumped by Go.
Number 11, Isaac Go, penalty.
So Ateneo in the penalty with 4:43 remaining in the third. And just listen to the verbal support for Prince Rivero. And his younger brother now comes in, so the Rivero brothers are both in the game. I'm not sure if people were expecting that Prince would have reduced minutes. I'm not even sure if Prince expected that. But what's so admirable about Prince, there's Adrian Wong getting a breather, was that he's always ready. So nung pinalaro siya ng UE game, he was ready. And he helped his team win.
He did. And it just shows you just how high that this guy in terms of character. As you see, an offensive rebound by big brother Prince. Would have been a nice three by Richie.
Isaac Go. He sees an opening. And he gets blocked by Richie Rivero. A steal by Matt Nieto. Good to see Matt Nieto is okay. 30 with a ball fake. Ravenna inside. Emergency pass, and Isaac Go will score. Isaac Go with 4 points off the bench. That's a Yamaha big move for Ateneo's big man. Archer still ahead, 69-51.
Right place in the right time. See, Isaac Go is a wild play by 30.
And that will be last touch on Prince Rivero with under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
The Eagles right now slowly trying to build a mini run, maybe to finish the third quarter, as they are still down by 18. I think if they can trim this down maybe to 12 and to 10, we could have ourselves a ball game.
Isaac Go and Jason Perkins, some anxious moments there while they were both on the floor. And I'm sure Perkins is having some words here with Isaac Go. Here's what happened. And there's the foul on Perkins, holding on to the back of Isaac Go. Isaac Go with a pin down, a takedown, which does not account for points in basketball. Both teams are in the penalties with 3:52 remaining in the third. Justin Baltasar enters the game, and 2 free throws for Isaac Go. Well, what you like about Isaac Go, he's playing like he doesn't care about the score. Or maybe he does, kaya siya galit na galit. It's Jeron Teng, not in uniform, having a light moment with Abu Tratter. You can afford to have light moments when you're up by this much.
And I think the same thing goes with Salle, who's not playing the score also. And if you're Justin Baltasar and Prince Rivero, you want to do your starters a favor by closing out this ball game properly so that you can give enough rest to your starters, specifically Ben Mbala.
Anton Asistio for 3. Rebound for Tomas Torres. Nice move, Torres, hang time, and smothered by Go. The ball will stay with the Green Archers. So the players on the floor for Salle: Tomas Torres, Kid Montalvo, Justin Baltasar, Richie Rivero, and big brother Prince Rivero.
Eagles better be careful, as Salle likes to look for that lob, which they don't get.
Here's Tomas Torres, shot clock down to 10. Montalvo for 3. Another possession here, and Richie Rivero knocks down the 3. Yes, sir. Chooks the Chooks player, Richie Rivero, Chooks to go. Ang manok na masarap kahit walang sauce.
The one thing that's been killing the Eagles today is extra possessions displayed that time by Justin Baltasar with the rebound and the kick out to the wide open Rivero 3.
And Matt Nieto answers back with his own 3-point shot in the corner. A decent Yakisobra move. 72-55, still all Salle with 2:51 remaining in the third as we enter our Milo Nutri-Up energy break.
Just their mindset of approaching each quarter na parang sila ang laging down by 20, as you can see, up by 17, and sila pa ang nagpa-press, forcing another turnover.
Ball fake, missed 3-point shot. 30 Ravenna with the rebound. Ravenna out of control there. Up, ran into a very compromising situation, leading to the turnover.
And again, even after the turnover by Salle, what's been impressive also, not only in this game but all throughout the season, is how they get back on defense, whether if it's off a miss, off a basket, or off a turnover.
So 30 Rivera picks up his third personal foul. Ben Mbala back in the game. Well, that's one way to stop Ben Mbala from scoring. You trap him near the half-court line, don't get him anywhere near the basket. There it is. Yep. At first, parang layo niya. So the crowd was nasty. Yung pala, eventually, he would step on that half-court line.
I think kasalanan talaga ng sapatos since he's like a size 18.
So Ravena, Matt Nieto, Chibueze Ike, Isaac Go, and Anton Asistio on the floor for this beleaguered Ateneo squad. Ike, swipe! Kip Montalvo on the move. Montalvo all the way. C2 fast break for Kip Montalvo and the Green Archers.
It was just like taking candy from a baby that time.
Actually, it's the baby taking candy from the grown-up. mas maliit si Montalvo. Here comes Thomas Torres. Oh! Yes, sir!
The sky! Big Ben and Mbala!
RCBC Savings Bank, life-changing move. And I think my life will never be the same. Watch this again. Montalvo, Torres, take off. Yes, sir!
Look how far he reaches back for the basketball. You would say it's a bad pass, but with Ben Mbala as the recipient, there's no such thing as a bad pass in basketball with Ben.
I think somebody at home is playing NBA 2K and Mbala is his player. That's what's happening here. Unreal. Oh, look out. Look out. Ben Mbala is there. Chibueze Ike is there. And they need to separate these gentlemen. Okay, everyone's okay. Everyone's okay. So there's the action. So Mbala, Nieto, and Ike, and Isaac go all there. Ike turning Mbala into a living room sofa. Right under the basket. So we've sorted that out. Action continues here in the third quarter. Go. Blocked by Baltasar. Fast break attack by the Archers. And Baltasar will finish with a layup. Deerfoot's Nuggets, it's so easy play for Baltasar. 22-point lead for the Green Archers.
That has been the story for you the whole game. For the Archers, just creating multiple opportunities by forcing turnovers and getting out in the open floor.
You know, we might show that replay that Mbala dunked again before the end of the third, maybe. Pero mas special request kay Direk. Meantime, here's Karapun. Under a minute left in the third. 10 to shoot for the Green Archers. Torres all the way, no go. Baltasar could not secure the basketball. Adrian Wong on the move. Good pass, Matt Nieto. Perfect anticipation of Mbala wanting to erase that shot. A decent Yakisoba move. De La Salle University could be 1 quarter away from sweeping the first round of season 79. And they're really showing everyone why they were the consensus pick to win it all. Win it all this year. I do not know of anyone else who picked any other team to win the championship outside of LaSalle.
And it just shows how competitive they are as a group. You know, we mentioned earlier the guys that they put in day and day out. We see Ben Mbala with a nice spin move and a rebound off his own miss. But it shows a lot of how hungry they are. And a lot of that, I think, has a lot to do with coming in the season with a chip on their shoulder after failing to make the Final Four last season. That disappointing season last season.
And then, you know, they got a head coach like Aldin Ayo, whose calling card is that relentless mayhem defense, which is in full display. Look out, alley-oop will not work. 1 second to go. Adrian Wong at the buzzer. And that ends the third quarter. The second quarter was on Salle. The third quarter still on Salle. Showing us why they are undefeated so far after 6 games. At the end of the third, Green Archers lead 80-58 over Ateneo. We'll be back with the fourth and final quarter.
The big guns are out. It's a heavyweight fight. Let's get it on.
The Altas fans are feeling it. The Ganon for the lead. The ball pass ties the game up.
Robert Bolling goes beast mode.
University of Perpetual will force a deciding game in the Final Four.
The country's top volleyball players battling for one crown. You don't want to miss the action.
Yes! What a spike.
Drama
Pressure, so much pressure.
and excitement.
Oh! What a win!
This is definitely quality volleyball.
Watch the Shakey's B-League on its new home here on SNA HD.
Okay, before we begin the fourth quarter, let's give you a recap. This was a close game in the opening quarter. The first quarter ended with a score tied at 20 all. We had 5 lead changes. Close game. Second quarter, everything changed. As you're watching Sky Movie, Ateneo versus LaSalle, it's cable and internet in your pocket. It all changed in the second quarter. LaSalle had a 13-0 run. They led by as many as 18 points. They took control, and they've been relentless ever since. They refuse to put their foot off that gas pedal, and it's just LaSalle total domination from the second quarter to the third quarter, and maybe we'll see if they can continue that here in the fourth. We saw that Master Guapo move earlier as we begin action in the fourth. Another swipe by Montalvo over to Mbala. Whoa! Oh, a rather dangerous play. Well, naturally, Matyev is going to hear it. Because it looked like a dangerous foul. It's a good thing that Mbala is possibly the strongest guy in the UAAP. McDonald's Muck Freeze instant replay. Freeze that intense action with the new Muck Freeze.
And it's the right call, obviously. But if you put yourselves in the shoes of Matt Nieto, the way this game has been going, what do you do though? I mean, Ben, this could have been his third or maybe fourth highlight for the day. But at the same time, you don't want to hurt a player, which I don't think he intended to do. He was just trying to stop a guy like a Big Ben going for another highlight.
Unsportsmanlike foul on Matt Nieto as expected. Okay, Denise Tinsa is ready with this Copico courtside report from the Ateneo bench.
Nico and Christian, when I asked the boys what's the best thing about playing for the Ateneo, their answers were similar. Tradition and community. They are grateful to represent a great school to everybody. When I asked Chris Porter to describe this Ateneo spirit, that is their greatest strength, he said that it is the spirit that carries the team forever and just makes everyone give their 100%. No one phrases it better than he did. You want to go over and above what you can possibly give just because you're part of the team. Coach Staff talks of giving back to the Ateneo community support. He mentioned on how blessed they are to be in this position and a privilege to play in a game like this. the whole team is honoring each other in the audience by giving their all. Back to you.
Thank you, Denise, for that Copico 78 courtside report. Grabbing Copico 78 now. And be refreshingly recharged. And Mbala at this point is unstoppable. Well, you could say he has been unstoppable since day one of this tournament. You could say he's been unstoppable since the summer. And here's Karakot, and maybe a little too ambitious at that point. Syempre mapapangiti na lang si Ben. And you can afford to do that when you are up by this mammoth margin with 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Over 16,000 fans. Well, half wants to witness a perfect first round. The other half, well, they were hoping to witness possibly the biggest upset of the first round. And unless Ateneo comes up with a miracle of biblical proportions, it's not going to happen. Adrian Wong from the corner, and he knocks down the three. Chooks the Chooks player, Adrian Wong. Chooks to go, ang manok na masarap kahit walang sauce.
You have to stick to the game plan if you're Ateneo and just continue to execute even though this game looks like to be in the books already.
It's there, and the ball would stay with Lasal. Speaking of Lasal, here's Bea Escudero with her Copico courtside report.
Nico and Christian in the huddle, the Archers are commended for dictating the pace of the game in every single quarter that has passed. But you know, Nico and Christian, despite the big margin of the score, the boys are only showing that they will only continue to work hard on the small details until the final buzzer. There was one thing Coach Louis told his players, and it was that during the small lead that the Blue Eagles had earlier, it did not discourage the Archers, but only made them hungry to keep going. So as we enter the final quarter of this match, the boys are expected to play smarter, stay positive, and continue to make it a team effort. Nico and Christian?
Thank you, Bea, for that Copico 78 courtside report. Grabbing Copico 78 now, and be refreshingly recharged. Brent Paraiso, he started this game for the Green Archers. He's back on the floor with Montalvo, Baltasar, Karakot, and Chirater. For Ateneo, Matt Nieto, 30 Ravenos, has become quiet here after the first half. Adrian Wong, Chris Porter, and Chibueze Ike. Here's 30 Ravena, and he was bumped by Baltazar. I think it was Paraiso. Who was it? It was Brent Paraiso. 1-2 punch. Ben Mbala, Jeron Teng. The Archers, as of the moment, they do not even need Jeron in this game. And there's a rejection by Justin Baltazar.
And just when you think that life is going to be easier with Mbala on the bench, hello, Justin Baltazar in the ball game and gets a big block on that last possession.
Porter, Ike, shot clock winding down for the Blue Eagles. Adrian Wong for three. And Adrian Wong, wow, he's having a productive third quarter, or second half rather. 14 points, 12 in the second half. Baltazar against Ike. Baltazar confidently trying to score here. Rebound picked up by 30 Ravenna, and turnover against Ateneo. Trotter going all the way, and he gets fouled by Ravenna.
And I believe that's the 28th turnover for the Eagles today. And out of the 28 turnovers, 15 was forced by LaSalle in terms of steals.
McDonald, McFreeze, instant replay. Freeze that intense action with the new McFreeze.
There's no way you're winning a basketball game against the Archers if you commit 28 or more turnovers. It is critical to take care of that basketball and getting good quality looks at the basket.
And in the same manner, if you want to sweep the first round, maybe if you want to sweep the entire tournament, that's how you do it. You give your opponent anxiety attacks every possession. That's what they do, panic attack every time you're in the backcourt trying to inbound. Porter, look out, Trotter from behind. And here's Adrian Wong. Wong inside. Wong, no go. Andre Karakot with the basketball. Karakot on the move all the way. Tratter with a putback.
Their length and their speed just completely dominating this ball game. Abu Tratter, good job, good trailing job that time.
Jolo Mendoza to Porter. Back to Jolo Mendoza. And they swing it over. Adrian Wong from the corner. Rebound, Baltasar. So, okay. The other teams are watching this game right now. The other coaches are watching this game. They, in all likelihood, should be very impressed with what LaSalle is doing. And you wonder, how do other teams beat LaSalle in the second round?
I don't think there's an exact formula to beat this team. You know, with their length, with their depth, with their quickness, with their tenacity on defense. But let's go back to their first game against FEU, which went down the wire in that game.
As we see in Kerfoot's Nuggets, it's so easy rebound.
You know, the three teams who have given the Archers a run for their money is FEU, NU, and last time out against the Warriors, FEU was in step at them the whole game, playing man-to-man defense. NU, on the other hand, controlled the whole game, the first 3 quarters, except for that 4th quarter. And those first 2 games primarily was because of Jeron Teng's, you know, clutch gene performance. 10 points in the 4th quarter against the Tamaraws, 8 points against the Bulldogs. Last time out, Jeron Teng only had 7 points, and it was a chance for them as a collective unit to prove that, hey, we're not only composed of 1 or 2 guys. And tulad ng pinakita natin before the game, a guy like Prince Rivero comes in, Melesio, Karakot, even Baltasar. You know, in their 6 games so far, they've had probably 5 or 6 players. You see a nice block again by Justin Baltasar. 5 or 6 players have been the best player of the ball game. And that to me speaks a lot about your team.
Copico 78 recharge player is Ben Mbala, grabbing Copico 78 now and be refreshingly recharged. And Mbala repeatedly punished that rim throughout this game.
You know, kung nagsasalita lang yung ring, it would probably be
It's already complaining.
crying right now.
It's complaining already. It's Jolo Mendoza. Anton Asistio for 3. Asistio with 9 points. He has 3 3-point shots for the Blue Eagles.
I'll say this though, just to finish what I'm trying to say, is that the important thing to me, aside from the X and O's, when you meet LaSalle in the ball game, you have to meet the level of competitiveness that they bring day in and day out. I couldn't imagine their practices being like this every day. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, they're as Porter hits a 3-point shot, back-to-back 3-point shots for Ateneo, trimming down the deficit to 19 points. The level of intensity of LaSalle's Paraiso will miss that following. I mean, it's just incredible. Melesio for 3. And they still get the ball. Relentless.
And how about Coach Louie being relentless also, seeing on the sidelines, number 23, to check back right in.
Another offensive rebound. Shot clock down to 10 and a swipe by Asistio. Asistio chasing the ball. And it will go back to the Green Archers. Look, I know Coach Aldin Ayo is not here. He's watching from their headquarters perhaps. Was suspended because of his intensity as well in the last game. And he has to get a ton of credit for really stamping, I would like to think, his personality of this team. Just really making mayhem, not just the hashtag, but really the ethos, the calling card of this LaSalle team as Torres goes in and misses that time. Mark Dyke, by the way, in the game, number 7 for the first time for LaSalle.
It's really a tough job. I don't think people realize the amount of burden and pressure a head coach has. As you see a nice three by Jonah Mendoza, Ateneo.
Well, they're
Trying to start a mini run
They're
now.
trying to have a last run here with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth and final quarter.
You know, people don't realize the amount of pressure and burden of taking over specifically a La Salle program. You know, but what's impressive is how he's been able to let these guys buy in to the system immediately.
Whoa, offensive rebound, Torres. And Mark Dyke gets into the action and helps out with that putback.
And I say that because of the history of basketball. If you look at the team, like for example the Chicago Bulls back in the 90s, before they won those 3 straight championships, they couldn't get over the hump. On the Detroit Pistons, what do? They bring in a smart guy like Phil Jackson.
Here's Melesio, sidestep beauty.
Ateneo Blue Eagles.
Aljon Melesio and the Green Archers. You know, they have 16 steals today, which is the most recorded in a single game since 2003. Unreal. Milo Nutri up drive by Melesio. We'll take this time out. Archers on top, 93-73.
They battled their hearts out. They fought till the end to claim their back-to-back titles.
Tabor to Santiago for the kill.
Congratulations, Shakey's V-League Collegiate Conference Champions, National University Lady Bulldogs.
Inside of all of Asia Arena. 3:16 remaining in the fourth and final quarter. Copigo 78, recharge moment. Grammy Copigo 78 now, and the refreshingly recharged. Wow, the La Salle side of the Mall of Asia Arena, jubilant, ecstatic, euphoric, and quite confident of what they're watching, what they're seeing. Their team 3 minutes away from sweeping the first round, and they'll embark on that ambitious quest to possibly sweep the second round as well, since they've defeated all the other UAAP teams. Now for Ateneo, looking ahead, how do they regroup, and what are the things they need to address when they begin the second round?
Well, I think they just have to, you know, as the term goes, flush this in the toilet as soon as Coach Tab gives his speech after the game to the team. You know, moving forward, you know, I think this team has done a good job. They're going to finish the season. The first round of the season at 4-3, and that's still, you know, manageable considering all that, you know, chaos downstairs with NU, with FEU, and even USD trying to get in the mix. They just have to forget about this game, go back to the drawing board or to the tape, and look at things to improve on moving forward.
Dyke going for a three-point shot, and fast break opportunity here for Matt Nieto. Really good to see Matt Nieto, because when he fell earlier on that right knee, that was a chippy twisters move for Nieto. That was scary. Really did not look good. It's great to see, you know, that he's fine. First fast break points for Ateneo today earlier. That layup by Matt Nieto. Here's Jolo Mendoza as we approach the last 2 minutes of the ball game. Nieto. This is that time, and another rebound for Ben Mbala.
Last
13 rebounds for Mbala as we enter the PS Bank last 2 minutes. Sa PS Bank home loan, mabilis na pagkabahay. Melesio goes in, and Dyke fighting for that basketball. So possession goes or stays with De La Salle University. Montalvo. Drop pass, and Dyke is fouled, and he will take 2 free throws.
On the 12-man Nieto. Adrian Wong for Matt Nieto.
Matt Nieto goes to the bench. Adrian Wong back in the game. 2 free throws for Dyke.
Ben Mbala.
Ben Mbala, he's done for today. Finally comes in. Ben Mbala, 28 points, 13 rebounds, 4 steals. Is it just 1 block? 5 steals, 1 block.
He also had
and that crazy life-changing alley-oop. Unbelievable.
multiple dunks also.
Oh my gosh.
That's one thing that you'll certainly see in the highlight reel in the next few days on SMA.
On SMA, online, everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Friendster, MySpace, everything. 9575, De La Salle University on top. We'll be back in a moment.
De La Salle Green Archers in dominant fashion.
Oh, big shot!
Thomas Torres on the run. Watch out, here comes Mbala with a throwdown. Salle fans up.
And the newest addition to the De La Salle coaching staff, Freddie Roach. Wow. See fans so happy because Freddie Roach wearing a La Salle shirt.
I think it's enough that La Salle is already dominating the basketball court.
Pati ba naman si Freddie Roach?
Pati boxing pa naman. Gusto mo mag-dominate pa rin ng La Salle?
Freddie Roach, the special guest of the Green Archers today. Treated to this domination by La Salle. Adrian Wong for 3. This is the second to the last game day of the first round. We still have a game day on Wednesday. And Jologo hits it off the glass. On Wednesday it will be Adamson against UST. And this actually the FU-NU game on Wednesday is crucial. Because that's going to be battle for solo second place. Because of this impending loss of Ateneo. As Ravenna goes in and is met in midair and got hit in the midsection a bit, but he's fine and he will take 2 free throws. Here's that move by 30 Ravenna.
To talk about being competitive, what should be a freeway to the basket being up by 22 points. Usually guys would let that go, but not Prince Rivero. Just shows you a lot and says a lot about this La Salle team this year. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, and we have to check the stats about this. They would probably be the first team not only to sweep, first of all, the season, but possibly to sweep the postseason as well, all the way up to the finals. I don't think we've ever seen that.
And your basis for that is
just their character of how they approach every game, every quarter in particular, with the mindset of not relaxing and just, you know, just keeping that step to the pedal.
You know, they've also passed tough tests in this first round. That NU game was a big test. They were down by 9 points, and they, you know, pulled it off and won that game. As Joe Logo will miss the 3, another almost an offensive rebound for the Green Archers. Then that FU game was a test. That UE game was a big test. I felt today was also a big test because they entered the game without their head coach and without Jeron Teng, and it's an Ateneo LaSalle game.
And coming in the game also, playing against a team who plays a different style of play. We talked about this with, obviously, LaSalle with that mayhem defense, pressure all the way, no matter what happens. With Ateneo, on the other hand, being a deliberate team, more of a deliberate half-court team, obviously overwhelmed today with this mayhem defense, committing, I think, 30 turnovers and counting, since we have 33 seconds left.
Ike, the Blue Eagles, they will regroup after this game as they prepare for the second round. Mark Dyke, ball fake, drop pass, and Prince Rivero will miss. Anton Asistio is fouled by Jolo Go.
And to add to that more, you know, when you have a stacked team like LaSalle, usually with the big names, obviously the Tengs, Mbalas, even a guy like Melesio, who came from the juniors as an MVP, Prince Rivero, a highly recruited player. Number 7, this guy, Dyke, was a highly recruited player, courted by a lot of schools also.
People were waiting for this guy.
Yeah, a lot of schools were waiting for him until he joined LaSalle this year. But, you know, for Coach Ayo and his coaching staff, again, being able to sell it to the boys immediately. And I think the key for them is how sacrificially they've showed and they've done it. That to me has been an evident key component this season so far for them.
Less than 20 seconds away from a perfect first round. Remember, we go all the way back to the very first press conference, and all the coaches were asked, all the coaches from the other UAAP teams were asked, and unanimous, all the coaches said LaSalle would be the team to beat. Partly because they believe that, partly also to put pressure. Again, mga coach, put pressure on LaSalle. And so far, LaSalle has handled the pressure quite well in the first round. 8 seconds remaining here. Jolo Mendoza fires away. He missed. Jolo Mendoza again. 1.6 seconds remaining. And the domination of the first round is complete. De La Salle University, led by Ben Mbala. They will win over Ateneo 97-81. La Salle will finish the first round at 7-0, and they are our great team of the game, led by assistant coach Louis Gonzalez. And we'll be back to explain how La Salle dominated this game after these. Undefeated after winning over the Ateneo Blue Eagles 97-81. Our PS bankable player of the game, without a shadow of a doubt, isang tulog lang may kotse ka na, is Ben Mbala.
And what's more to say or to explain about the performance of this man right here? I think the numbers are just self-explanatory. You can say whatever you want, the 1-2 punch being Jeron at the number 1, him at the number 2, or vice versa. But, you know, this team is just built to win it this season, going for the sweep in the first round.
And they have that sweep, and now begin their quest to sweep the second round. Milo Nutria up his game. Abu Tratter. We talked about it before the game. His contributions to this team may not be the leading scorer, may not be the leading rebounder, but he does so much.
He does, and he takes off the pressure off of Ben Mbala. As you see Ben running or sprinting down the lane for the offensive rebound, he does the same thing also. He was solid today also.
On Wednesday, the Adams and Soaring Falcons, they lost earlier, upset by the UE Red Warriors. They'll face UST in the first game. And the crucial game, FU versus NU. That is a fight for solo second place to end the first round. That's happening Wednesday here, back here inside the Mall of Asia Arena. Once again, earlier, UE shocking Adamson, 64-57. Alvin Pasaol leading away with 13 points. And moments ago, the De La Salle Green Archers, they go undefeated in the first round, beating Ateneo 97-81. Ben Mbala, 28 points, 13 rebounds, monster performance. For Denise Tinsay, Bea Escudero, my partner Christian Luanzon, I'm Miko Adili saying thank you for watching the UAAP on SNA.